Now, Homath, what I find interesting about him, I have watched some of his videos on YouTube, but I mainly follow him here on X. I've been following him for a few months now, and he's one of these guys who talks about what you can call "quote unquote" red pill or dating, stuff like that, modern dating, and he talks about the dynamics between them. And what I like about Homath is he definitely presents himself as a very intelligent person. He definitely is a smart guy. He basically draws a lot of diagrams, which I'll show you. He doesn't show his face, at least I don't think. I've never seen him show his face, but basically just shows diagrams and stuff. And this is in his videos, but he tweets a lot, and he makes a lot of sense in his tweets relating to what's going on with guys, this and that. The loneliness that men are facing, incels, which we'll get into all of this. So I wanted to show a chart he made, because I often talk on here about the loneliness epidemic. And listen, I'm not trying to say this is just a man thing. This is obviously everyone. We live in this world that I talk a lot about that doesn't interact with each other, right? As I said, I'll be 28, later in January, and I've lived in this town. I moved out of my parents' house 3 years ago, and in this area I live in, like I haven't really made any friends. I have friends from my old town, but they also moved elsewhere. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I don't have friends that I could just, like, in this area at least, that I could just call up and be like, hey man, want to hang out? This and that, or just go toss around a football. Most of what I do alone. I go to the gym alone, right? And I talk to people at work, this and that. But when I go for walks, days I don't go to the gym, because that's what I try to do, right? I don't see people nearly my age out, Even if I do, it's like they're on the phone. No one really talks. I remember it was like this, man, when I first started noticing this in college, right? My freshman year of college, I remember, like, I was excited to meet new people. Now, maybe it was the school I went to. I went to Montclair here in New Jersey. Not the, most social school or whatever, socialite. Not a school known for their social life, excuse me. But I was just amazed that, like, even back then when I was 18, that, like, wow, it's just like no one would introduce to each other, no one would talk to each other, everyone was just on their phone, and, like, it's just gotten worse since then, in my opinion. But anyway, as I said, Mr. Homath here, he draws charts, right? And I think this is a very, very, very accurate depiction of what's going on today in the dating game. And someone who's older who's seeing this might not give an F, because the older generation keeps proving that they don't care really about the problems of my generation. But now the thing about Homath, I don't agree with everything this guy says, right? So ignore the stupid equal pay, feminism, this and that. Because here's the thing. All these guys that are big or whatever, that talk about dating, that talk about anything close to, even remotely close to what you would call red pill, they never talk about the roots of these issues. They never talk about, well, why are things so bad? They talk about it as if this is just how women are. And in the past, there was all this monogamy and Christian values, and that's why women were obedient, and we have to keep them in the house and not give them any empowerment. It's actually really ridiculous if you think about the notion, right? And I totally understand why people would fall into it, but he's one of these people that just, it makes you mad as a man at women. It makes you not like women. It makes you get angry at them for what's going on. And listen, I can go on and on about, I'm a straight guy here. I can go on and on about the issues with the modern woman. I really, truly can, right? But I don't need to, because we already know it at this point. There's been the antidote to feminism has been people like Homath, and all these masculinity guys like Casey Zander, the Fresh and Fit podcast, Alpha Male Strategies, Darius M, 33 Secrets. I mean, I've watched all these guys. I was a really big red pill guy for about 4 or 5 years. I was really hardcore into red pill into my life after, of course, some breakups that I went through in my life, and I was confused as to what I was doing wrong. And there's some truth in red pill. I'm not saying what these guys are saying is completely wrong, but they're not getting to the root causal effects. That's one. They're making you think as if, too, women are just, like, inherently, like, evil, kind of like how the whole Bible thing with the story of Adam and Eve. I always hear red pill guys talking about that, and I get why they're using that as an as an analogy, but it's so wrong to say, like, it's like saying just like women are evil. That's like basically what they're saying. It's like kind of like saying, oh, black people are evil. Black people are evil. That's why we had to keep them in slaves, because if we give them empowerment, this is how they're going to be, a bunch of libtards. It doesn't make sense. It's how you are trained growing up. This is social engineering is what I'm saying. This isn't female nature. This isn't women are inherently evil. This is social engineering that was done through the modern woman's grandma to their mom to her, right? In different ways, but ultimately socially engineered to believe that they're above every man, that no man is above them, and that no man is good enough for them. That's the basis of what has gone on with that. And with men, the man has been feminized. The man will follow what the woman wants. So when you empower the woman, you make the woman lead the way, the men are going to follow because men want to be accepted by women. That's just the fact. And I don't really have to do much explaining for this chart, right? Just erase the equal pay, blah blah blah, with social engineering, and this side would be social engineering, this side would be normal, right? Without socially engineering women to only want a certain type of guy, this and that. You would have a normal playing field. And of course, these men that don't make it, sorry, maybe they're just ugly, or they're just the ones that sit around and play video games and are incels, right? The type of men that women always complain about. These would be the incels then. Because these would be the guys who are lay on their couch, right? Eat Doritos, play video games, smoke weed, drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes maybe. And then these guys, this guy would be like your average, like a guy, for example, here, right, on this side of the chart, like in modern day. These guys right here, these three, let's say, who like most women won't look at even, probably would be the best bets because these guys get all the women, they get all the attention, so you're most likely going to get cheated on if you go with this guy. But it's modern women prove they like guys, though, that cheat on them. But besides that, like this is probably your plumber or something, maybe you're a small business owner or something, like in this category, I would say. People who do good jobs, high-paying jobs, but it's like, or even a truck driver who makes easily over like $100K a year, but women just, nah, we want the entrepreneur who's a millionaire. And it's like, this is when you see that all the plethora of women are going for the top, basically 3% right here of guys out of 10, or however much, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, out of 10. Then you basically just have 20% of women for, about 75% of guys. It's uneven. You're leaving a ton of men in particular and single. But the thing about the single guys is they have no one. The thing about the women here that are going to be single is they have options, because these guys, what women don't understand about men is, and I think, people don't understand this in general about men, is a man will do anything for sex. So even if this guy is a 10 out of 10, most women view him a 10, he will have sex with a woman who's like, mid, like a 5, if he wants to, if he's horny. Same with, all these guys would lower themselves and have, like, a guy who's viewed as a 7 out of 10 would have sex with a girl who's like a 4 out of 10 if he's horny. And girls don't understand that. So it's like they're just giving up their body. And listen, if it's consensual, if you no regrets, whatever, fine, okay. But, I don't think people realize in the long term, we're not educated on the long-term effects of this. If people still know these things and are educated on them and still want it to be this way as opposed to this, then fine, okay. Just as long as we understand the consequences and where this is going to lead us, okay. But the issue is people don't understand this. And when they see it, they think it's incel hatred, or they think it's back then it was the opposite. It was the men that got to choose this and that. Well, not really. Because if you have an even playing field, everyone is going to be happy. And you're just by default going to have the guys, and may encourage more men to work hard, Because what's happened is so many guys give up that they don't even try to be attractive to women anymore, right? That's basically what's happened here. So, this chart, as it explains here, you're leaving, let's just say roughly 75 to 70% of men just single, optionless, with to choose from the bottom of the barrel of women who are probably fat, ugly, annoying, bums, all that. So, I think this is a real problem, man. It's really, really concerning, actually, because again, I'm getting closer to 30. And these things that I'm seeing, it's not even just with relationships. I could say this stuff about friends too. How even like 20 years ago, people had more friends than they do today. I mean, this is not good. I don't understand why we want to ignore it. I don't understand why people want to continue to live life as if nothing's changing. Ever since COVID, bro, everything has changed. There has not been anything that's been the same since COVID. The world is continuing to change. We're all being so divided. None of us interact. That we cannot have any logical debate, any logical discussion because there's too much emotion involved, too much raging involved, too much rage quitting, I should say. And it's like, oh, if this person believes that, I don't even want to hear what they have to say. Or if they view it as this, well, you should try to understand why some people believe what they believe. Anyway, I think I said enough about this chart here.